Okay, let's talk about this again. So if you saw my last video in which John and I unboxed the Lunar Beauty advent calendar, you know that we thought the packaging was gorgeous and we were really excited about the launch and the product in general. I still think that it's an amazing idea, but I was not shy about how disappointed I was in the overall color choice. This is what I thought we were getting. And I did go back and watch Manny's reveal video and his announcement of this launch, because I was like, maybe I misunderstood something. But no, he said the word blue. He said he was going for Aurora Borealis, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what that was, so I had to Google it. And I Googled reference images, and I just personally don't think that the colors that were chosen, this right here, really fits the way that this was marketed. I'm super disappointed to open a stunning, like, midnight icy fantasy forest kind of palette and get basically what I wore to Thanksgiving last year. So I probably would not have purchased this palette if I would have seen the insides, even though I think the idea is beautiful and I've wanted to try Lunar Beauty for a long time. So that said, there's nothing I can really do about it now. I can be disappointed with the color choice all I want. However, the packaging is still gorgeous and I still want to give it a go. I want to play with the eyeshadows, tell you guys what I think. I will also say that I did buy my first beauty oil. Lip oil. I bought a lip oil and I've been wearing this and I love the way that it feels. In fact, I need to put some on because I'm a little crusty. Anyways, we are going to jump in to playing with the eyeshadow palette. So once again, this is kind of what we're working with. I'm not entirely sure which colors I'm going to use other than black. I knew I wanted to play with black because I want to do something very dramatic. And I kind of, in my head, have an idea of what I'm doing. But to be quite honest, we're just figuring it out as we go. So if this does not turn out, I'll still probably post the video. Starting first and foremost with a flat little rounded brush, we are going to create not a graphic shape, but a very sharp shape. I'm first starting out by just sketching with the black eyeshadow the kind of shape that I want. This is the shape we have so far. I'm going for like an ovular graphic kind of thing, but I want to leave it open. We're going to set that brush aside and we are going to pick up something a little bit softer, like this rounded one here, and I gotta decide, I don't even think that's even. My actual eyeballs are uneven, so I guess that makes perfect sense. But now we are going to take this, and shall we do purple, brown? Probably purple, right? Since I was bitching about the lack of color in this, I guess that means I have to do purple. So we're gonna pick up some of that purple and we are going to feather that in right next to that black and drag it in almost until it disappears. So when your brush initially goes in, it has the most product on it. That's where you really just wanna snuggle up on that black outline that we did. And as your brush loses product, that's when you wanna start dragging it or feathering,
buffing, blowing
it in. I'm picking up just a touch more and really concentrating it here on this inner corner and making sure that I've got like this beautiful fade from the inner corner out on both sides. I'm gonna leave the insides alone for right now. I'm gonna be taking that same brush and we are going to do the exact same thing, but from the outer corner where we've drawn our line inwards. I did a much better job on this side so far, so if the rest of the video is like this, you know why. I think I want to make this a tad more dramatic, so we are going to use just the point, which is the very tippity top of this same brush that we just had into that purple color. We're gonna tip tap patty whack right back into that black shade, and this is gonna be the most concentrated, like, nestling of color that we've ever done. So far it's giving sexy bruise, and I'm okay with that. I will also say that this is not the blackest black that I've ever used, but I kind of appreciate that because I feel like it blended very easily with that purple. Now we're gonna take our finger And we are going to pick a shade, pick any shade, shimmer shade, pick any shimmer shade. I want the more champagne-y golden color, I think. Yep, I do. And we are just tapping that right here into the very center. We're making sure to kiss both sides of that equation. But applying that was so easy, and I think that they look wet. Tell me they don't look wet. Just to clarify on something that I said earlier, I was disappointed that this was the color scheme inside of this Icy Midnight Forest Fantasy palette. I'm not inherently disappointed in these colors in general, I just already have them in my collection. So it's not that I think that this is a bad palette or that this isn't like fun and slightly adventurous, because this is slightly, you know, a lot of like neutral people would be uncomfy with an olive and a, maybe not a plum, an olive and a yellow. I was expecting something more like this. Cool tone, fall fantasy. It's fine. When it comes to smoking out your lower lash line, my favorite thing to do is load a flat but slightly rounded brush like this. And when I initially go in with that color, I kind of stamp it in so I can get as close to the lash line as possible, and I can really pack that color in. And then just like we did earlier with our brush, as you notice that, you know, you've been applying for a while and your brush is a little bit less pigmented, I then, instead of going straight in, kind of turn my brush a little bit and then smoke. Because it's got a little bit less pigment on it since you've already kind of packed it in, and then turning your brush sideways and letting the width of it go down across your lower lash line kind of helps you like carve, dig, press, drag, push, if you will, that color into your under eye. All right, I really like that. I do want to do something to my lower lash line. I'm gonna take a ColourPop liner. Wow, we're really giving Barney, but I like it. I'm using the same brush that we used for the olive here under the eyes, and we're gonna tap into that more like olivey shimmer shade. I really like the way that that looks. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the iciest shimmer in the palette, which is this one right here. We are going to press that just in the very center. And then I think I want to tie in some of like the grunginess from up top. So I am going to grab that initial where we did like the carving out of the black, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of black. I'm going to hit just the inner corner as well as the outer corner of that lower lash line very softly. And I'm going to kind of leave it open here in the very middle. And then I'm gonna pick up that purple shade and I'm gonna hit just the very inner corner. And where I've left the black kind of open here in the very center, I'm gonna kiss that with a little bit of purple. I'm gonna finish off my face and then we are going to continue talking about this. So we are almost done. I just wanted to add one more thing. I have stopped doing like the blinding highlighter thing, but I thought that this would be the perfect look to kind of pop that super frosty kind of shimmer shade here on our cheeks to just kind of tie it off with all this other like shimmer gorgeousness going on. So I'm picking up just a giant fluff brush. I think this is actually the Jaclyn Hill. It's the Jaclyn Hill highlighter brush. Oh, unnecessarily blinding, thank you. All right, this is the final look. Overall, I really enjoyed this palette. It may not be the colors that I was expecting, but the formula is beautiful. I would be very interested in purchasing a more colorful palette from this brand in the future. I think the packaging is amazing. I did really enjoy opening the advent calendar, and again, that's something that other makeup companies, they're just not doing. So I really think that as far as the packaging goes, they completely knocked it out of the park. I really do love the formula. I'm not wearing the beauty oil now. I started the video with it on, but in general, very nice. I like the way that it feels on my lips, and I do think that it does something by way of hydration, because these babies were crusty, okay, before I started doing the rest of my makeup, and I let that sit on until it was time to apply. Please let me know your thoughts on the palette, the packaging, and Lunar Beauty in general down in the comments below. Let me know if you yourself have purchased this, or if you've purchased anything from the brands, anything you guys would love to see me try, because I'm happy to buy more. Eventually. Yeah, this is fun.